Skill yo, welcome back to Niner Wire. I'm your host Sam, and today we are back for another post-game analysis. I know this is a bit late, guys. I apologize for that. I get some other stuff done. Why am I even having my AirPods on? I don't know. For some reason, I wasn't hearing my voice well. But okay, anyways, we can take the AirPods off. We're all good with that. But anyways, guys, there's not much. I said in the post-game, there wasn't much to say about the game. In pregame, there wasn't much to say about the game during pregame. I have a lot to say in post-game, guys. Yeah, just a horrendous performance all around. I know it's a bit late. I apologize for that again. I had some stuff to do, but hey, we're bringing it to you. We're bringing it to you. Win, loss, tie, you name it. I'm going to be here all day, every day, giving you guys the post game that we need. So let's just get right into it really quickly. But before I get into it, guys, make sure to follow me on Twitter at NinerWireSam. My Instagram's at NinerWire_YT. I post a lot of stuff there during the game. After the game, I posted that the stream was going to be a bit late there. So if you want stream updates, make sure to post it there. I also put the links there too. And as always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, make sure to leave them in the chat below. And without further ado, let's get right into it. By the way, guys, just me today. So yeah, it's just me today. We'll have to go into it. But yeah, so we're going to do this a bit differently today. So usually I go by position by position. But I'm just going to look at positive and negatives, and let's start off with the defense this time because I don't have much to say about the defense. Let's start with defensive line. Not much for them, as always. The pressure has not been there this year. It hasn't been as good as last year's pressure. Let's be real with that. Nick Bosa, D Ford, with those guys out, this defensive line is nothing compared to last year's defensive line. Yeah, there's not much to say about that. Kerry Hyder, though, balling the hell out, man. That's what I love to see from a guy who you didn't bring in for much, just balling out. I always love to just see guys like that succeed in our system, just like that. Boom, right away, fill the need. Kerry Hyder, man, has been balling out for us. I'm really hyped about that. Same with Armstead and Kinlaw. They've been getting pressure today. Yeah, Jaime, you said right now, Armstead got paid for what? He did. He looked better today. Let's be real. He only has 1 sack on the year, 2 sacks on the year. I forget how many, but he had some good pressures today. Yes, they didn't result in sacks, but still, man, I would say he is doing his job for what he got paid, though. Yes, he's not doing his job. Let's be real. His contract is way too overpriced right now, and it's really kind of building off of last year. As I said, last year you had you had Buckner, you had Bosa, you had Ford, you had all those guys surrounding Eric Armstead. That's the perfect place for him to succeed. And now none of those guys are there. Buckner's gone. D Ford's on IR. Bosa's out for the year. Eric Armstead is supposed to be the main guy there, and he cannot do that. So yes, that's definitely a high price, but he is still a talented defensive lineman. I'm not going to give up hope on him yet. I think we can wait a little bit on him. Wait till a guy like Nick Bosa comes back. Wait till a guy like D Ford comes back. But yeah, as Antonio said right here, Buckner made Armstead look a lot better. So yeah, he's got to step it up. Yeah, and as Kobe says right here, he's the best player on this line, so he's getting a lot more attention than he can handle. Exactly my point. That's where you see guys like Kerry Hyder succeeding. That's where you saw Eric Armstead succeed last year. You had, the Niners have guys that succeed as the number 2 guys because no one's paying attention to them. Then they come in, get those sacks. So, yeah, that's really all I got to say about the defensive line. Decent, could be better. It's going to be better with Nick Bosa and with D Ford back. So, yeah. All right, linebackers. Let's just start off. Fred Warner, best linebacker in the league. Just put it that way. He is still all over the place. Didn't make a noticeable impact that much today, but dude is still all over the place, balling the hell out, playing like the best linebacker in football. Bobby Wagner, though, let's give Bobby Wagner props. What a game from Bobby Wagner. Let's be real. Bobby Wagner, Fred Warner, you got 2 of the best linebackers in the league right there, right then and there. Both were balling. Bobby Wagner definitely balling out more than Fred Warner today, but Fred Warner had a great game. So, you can't say much negative about Fred Warner. Balling out, took that stinger. I was praying to God that wasn't a collarbone injury because he was just grabbing his shoulder right after. So, yeah, man. We'll have to, hopefully he can stay healthy throughout the year. Obviously, we're going to need him because, I was thinking as soon as he went down, I mean, our season's done. And our season could be already done. I mean, with all the injuries, a 500 record through halfway through the season. Not looking good, but hopefully Fred Warner can stay healthy. I mean, yeah, it's that simple. You got to have Fred Warner on the field if this team wants to win. He definitely seems like an X factor in this team. Dre Greenlaw now. This is where all the negativity is going to start. What a horrible performance from Dre Greenlaw. I know I started there. Just a god-awful performance. Let's start off with the Metcalf touchdown. The very first Metcalf touchdown. I don't have the film pulled up, but you can watch the film. He gets completely lost on that. He pauses for like a second. No idea what to do. Doesn't notice the guy. So Metcalf's, I wish I could show you the film. But Metcalf's running sideways. Greenlaw's right there. He can either go straight towards him and make the tackle, or he can wait and just move to the side, force DK Metcalf to go through that hole where I believe it's Jason Verrett right there just waiting for him. And he just decides to just like let him run. I'm like, what are you doing? This dude is legit. This guy's a top 5 receiver in football, probably at this point right now. He's playing like a top 5 receiver in football. And you're just going to let him do that? I mean, come on. I mean, that doesn't make sense to me at all. I mean, I don't play football. I could have done a better job than Dre Greenlaw on that play. And then, I mean, throughout the game, he just had a ton of miscues. This was definitely a terrible game from Dre Greenlaw. Let's just put it that way. I don't really need to say much. I mean, he can rebound, obviously, but just overall, just an ugly performance from Dre Greenlaw. I mean, yeah, it was just not good at all. And I mean, disagree with me if you want, but Dre Greenlaw just needs to step it up next game. He did not do that well. So, yeah, a lot of missed tackles, a lot of poor angles today. Dre Greenlaw definitely hurt this team a lot. Let's be real. And then Azeez Al-Shaair didn't make a noticeable impact today, but I believe it was on the first DJ Dallas touchdown. What? I need to pull up the film, but there's so many things that, I mean, mainly Dre Greenlaw. Dre Greenlaw is the main culprit of the linebacking problems today. Azeez Al-Shaair, though, he missed that one play, and I mean that a lot of people are giving him shit for that, and I'm not gonna ignore it. I'm gonna give him shit for that too. He missed that play. He fucked that up badly. But I will say though, he's a decent linebacker, not starting caliber, but decent. So I mean, yeah, that's really all I gotta say about Azeez Al-Shaair. I mean, yes, he missed that play, he messed that up, but yeah, I mean, that's really all I gotta say. And I want to bring up Antonio's comment right here where he says Quan needs to go. And to that I agree with. I think Quan definitely needs to go. It's definitely an off game for Dre Greenlaw. I think we can definitely pick up another linebacker in the draft, getting Quan off the board, off the cap table, I should say. So I do think Quan Alexander needs to go. Yes, he was hurt today. I've been saying this for a while now. Quan Alexander, this is probably his last year here. Just get his cap off the board. Just get a pick out of him. Maybe use that as his replacement. I don't know. We'll have to see how it goes. But I will say it doesn't have to do anything with this game today. I mean, he didn't play this game. It's that simple. And Drake, if it was because of this game, it wouldn't make sense because Dre Greenlaw had a terrible game. Azeez Al-Shaair had a meh game. So I do think Quan Alexander, yes, he needs to go. Doesn't have to do anything with his game today. So yeah, that's all I really got to say about Quan Alexander off the board. And okay, let's just sum up the game in one piece right there. Opening kickoff. We kick it off. We're just charging forward, ready to take on this challenge. And then Demetrius Flanagan pulls his hamstring on the kickoff. Our game was summed up by that play by Demetrius Flanagan fouls, just charging forward, ready to go, pull our hamstring, and just like die. That's exactly what happened today with this game. Demetrius Flanagan fouls. I mean, Demetrius Flanagan fouls is a good special teams player. There's a reason he made the 53-man roster, and he hasn't been demoted yet. I said he would be demoted once Fred Warner came back from the COVID list. That was, I think we kept 52, but he has not been demoted yet. Definitely a good player on special teams. Not obviously not a significant loss, but still, that definitely sums up our game. I want to answer Antonio's comment right here because we just talked about D-line, and I said D Ford, that's a crucial guy for this defensive line, is a career ending. I got to say, I mean, the thing that's really concerning me is this was supposed to be a 1 week thing. Week 2, it's like, oh, this is just a neck spasm. He'll be fine. And it's week 8. He hasn't played yet. And Kyle Shanahan says he'll be back week 11. Week 11 may not even be when he comes back. It could be a lot later than that. And it's a back injury now. It's definitely concerning. I don't think it's career ending. I think we're going to have to see where it goes. There's just so little information on everything about his injury. So we'll have to see where it goes from here. Boys got to take a sip of water. All right, let's talk about the secondary now. I don't got much to say about the secondary. I know a lot of people were like blaming guys like Jimmy Ward right there. A lot of people were blaming Jimmy Ward today. A lot of people were blaming Emmanuel Moseley. A lot of people, I mean, yeah, those were really the two guys that a lot of people were blaming today. And I mean, it's hard to say give up on those guys, yeah, because let's be real. As I said about Dre Greenlaw with that play, I said DK Metcalf's top 5 receiver in football. I mean, he was just torching Emmanuel Moseley, and I do not blame Emmanuel Moseley one bit for that. I mean, it's Emmanuel Moseley. You don't expect him to cover a guy like Julio Jones. That's a guy that you expect Richard Sherman to cover, or DK Metcalf. Let's just put it that example. You expect a guy like Richard Sherman to cover him. Richard Sherman's out today. You can't do much about it. As for Jimmy Ward, I mean, it's here's the thing. Like, it's hard for me to comment on that because, yes, he had a bad game, but there's no specific moment I can pick out. And I do think he should get traded because I will say Tarvarius Moore, as I've said this throughout, I said this week 7 postgame. I said this week 7 pregame. I said this week 8 postgame. I mean, why am I blanking out? I was going to say to the team, trust Tarvarius Moore a lot. Ward's contract is definitely huge. I would not be surprised if we got him off the table. I know Vegas made a really good push for him. Made a strong push for him, but that didn't work out. So I do think that Jimmy Ward, I would not be surprised to see him traded in the offseason. For the trade deadline, no. But yeah, Jimmy Ward, I would not be surprised to get off the books, the contract books. So yeah, that's really all I gotta say. All right. And then the other two guys I didn't talk about the secondary, Marcel Harris and there's more guys in it too. All right, Marcel Harris, Jason Verrett, Kalen Williams, and then Ahkello Witherspoon. Let's just talk about Ahkello Witherspoon real quick. Had that nice play on special teams, pinning the ball down at the 1 yard line. Great job by Ahkello Witherspoon right there. So yeah, that's really all I gotta say about Ahkello Witherspoon. Not much, doesn't really make an impact on the team. So yeah, that's really all I gotta say. And then Jason Verrett, solid game. I mean, Lockett didn't do much. Their other receivers didn't do much. It was really just the DK Metcalf show. And Verrett didn't really have that big of a part in today's game. But I'm so glad to see him balling out, man. After all that he's been through, it's always good to see what's going on with Jason Verrett, how he's been playing. Been playing well, obviously. So, Verrett, keep doing your thing. And then as for Marcel Harris, yes, he's no Jaquiski Tart, but he makes an impact. He does his job. I don't really need to say much about Marcel Harris. So, yeah. All right. I want to talk. I know I see all the Jimmy G comments. We're going to get to that in 1 second. So, I just want to say one thing. There is one major positive side of the defensive play today, and that is Robert Saleh is making the adjustments that we need. I said so many times, Robert Saleh has failed to make adjustments. He's failing to do this well, and he's a terrible defensive coordinator. He's starting to make the adjustments with his guys out. He blitzed a lot today. That helped a lot. In my opinion, that definitely helped a lot. I mean, we were pressuring the quarterback a lot, and then the Seahawks kind of figured this out, but I don't blame Robert Saleh for that. It is definitely hard to make in-game adjustments. Yes, you have to do that. But before the game, he made the adjustments. Seahawks figured them out. Credit to them. Pete Carroll's one of the best coaches in the league. So, yeah, I mean, I don't really have to say much about that. But, I mean, yeah, Robert Saleh making the adjustments we need. I'm glad to see that. It's just his players that got to step it up. Dre Greenlaw. So, yeah, if his players just step it up, then I think he's going to be back on track. This defense is going to do well. So, yeah, I want to bring up the point about Antonio that Antonio said, Sam, you said to trade Sherman. I did not say to do that. I said I would not be surprised if they do that. I would not trade Richard Sherman right now. Absolutely not. Considering that we're still playing guys like DK Metcalf, DeAndre Hopkins twice a year. I would not trade Richard Sherman. I was saying that I would not be surprised if the team trades Richard Sherman. Let me find the tweet real quick. Give me 1 second. Let me find the tweet really quickly. I gave some reasons. I never said that I would want this to happen. If it happened, I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, okay. Where is this tweet? It's from this week. Where on earth is it? Give me 1 second. I'm sorry this is taking. Okay, here it is. Here's one that was shockingly Richard Sherman. He's 32 going into a contract year. If Mosley and Verrett keep balling out, he might be expandable. I don't really think he is after this game, especially the fact that Mosley couldn't cover anyone. So yeah, I mean Mosley, not anyone. He just couldn't cover DK. So I would not expect Richard Sherman to get traded now. But I think at the time when I tweeted that was October 27th, so that was Tuesday. I would not be. I think back then I wouldn't be surprised. Now I absolutely would be surprised with the trade deadline on Tuesday, I believe. Yeah, I mean after Mosley's performance today, he couldn't cover DK Metcalf. Richard Sherman's that guy for it. So I think you got to keep Richard Sherman on this team. I never said I would trade him. So yeah. All right. Now all the Jimmy G comments. Let's bring them up. All right. First of all, Bob, I think that's a bit of a reach. I mean, he's not the worst quarterback in franchise history. I mean, he took our team to the Super Bowl. Let's be real. Let's not get that far ahead of ourselves. And let's just start with the offensive line, because if you don't think the offensive line had a part in Jimmy G's performance today, you did not watch this game, because that was one of the worst performances I've ever seen from this offensive line. And there's been some pretty damn bad performances today. They couldn't cover the blitz for shit. Bobby Wagner balled out today, and that was in large part to this offensive line. I mean, the linebacker blitz are something that you should be able to stop, in my opinion. You should be able to stop those guys. You got to worry about those defensive linemen. And when you can't cover your guys, it just doesn't work out, obviously. And Hronis Grasso has a major part in that. Major part in why this offensive line was terrible. This is the Hronis Grasso I expected to see during the season. In week 1, I was so concerned about his status on this team. And yeah, I mean, he hasn't been doing that well so far, obviously, as we can tell. And then, I mean, Mike Mcglinchey, that's the other guy I want to talk about. Mike Mcglinchey should not be a captain on this team. He is not a good tackle. I don't need to say anymore. This dude is terrible. He has not played well at all this year whatsoever. He has not played well. This dude, I don't know how he got that captain spot. He absolutely does not deserve it. This dude isn't good. I'm just telling you guys that right now. I would not be surprised whatsoever if the 49ers declined his fifth year option. Do not be surprised if they do that, because he has been playing dog shit. It's just so, it sucks to see it, because I mean, I had high hopes for him. He hasn't lived up to those hopes, but yeah, as Kobe said, only a good run blocker. When you can't get the run blocking going, it's not going to work for him. I mean, the Niners had the pass today, and it didn't work. The Niners had the pass today, didn't work because we're in the lead. We were not in the lead, and I feel like when this team's not in the lead, this team cannot pass the ball well. It really only happens when we have the lead, and this is a huge issue with play calling. And we'll talk about play calling in a second, but yeah, I mean, Mcglinchey, he's got to get the pass game going. Got to step it up. I saw him and Grasso on the ground at least 3 times today, respectively. So, I mean, they got to step it up. This kind of goes back to my Alex Leatherwood point that I brought up. I believe that was week 4 or 5 that I said, Alex Leatherwood. There you go. You got to get Alex Leatherwood. I mean, I really think he could really help this team a lot. And we definitely need offensive line is our biggest need on this team right now. Cornerback, you could say, because of DK Metcalf's performance, but I don't want to overreact to that too much. I do think offensive line, games are won in the trenches. It's that simple. Offensive line is way more important than cornerback at this point. So, yeah, the offensive line, man, just a terrible performance. I will say Trent Williams, Laken Tomlinson did do pretty well today. So, yeah. And then Brunskill was meh. I didn't really see much action. We didn't really hear much about him today. So, yeah, I mean, that's really all I got to say. Yeah, and as Antonio said right now, Mcglinchey doesn't really deserve to get paid. So that's really all I got to say. Hang on one second. Okay. Sorry, I just saw a tweet that I just want to read at. But yeah, okay. Now let's talk about Jimmy G. Let's just look at all these comments. I mean, it's just like Jimmy G is done. Jimmy G is inconsistent. We should tank for Jimmy G to get someone like Jimmy G. Jimmy G is cooked. I mean, a lot of people were just blaming Jimmy G today, and I'm on board that train. A lot of this game was his fault. Let's be real. I'm not going to ignore that at all. A lot of this game was his fault. I will say though, he's not done. Let's put it that way. I'm not saying he's done. He isn't bad. He's inconsistent. I'm gonna, out of all the comments right here, you have the worst quarterback in franchise history. You have cooked, you have done, you have, and then just sucks dick, and then you have inconsistent. I'm gonna go with Kobe's point right here. I do think he's just inconsistent because we've seen him balled out. We've seen him ball out before. Let's be real. The Saints game last year, balled out. The Rams game, balled out. I mean, even the Jets game. Yes, it's the Jets, but still, he balled out. This is a guy that took us to the Super Bowl. I'm not, if you can argue with me if you want. You can argue and say that Jimmy G did not take us to the Super Bowl. I'm going to stand by that point for the rest of my life. Jimmy G is one of the main reasons we were in the Super Bowl. Not the reason, but one of the main reasons we were in the Super Bowl. There's obviously multiple reasons because it's a team game, but you have to have a good quarterback to make the Super Bowl. Jimmy G is the reason we made the Super Bowl. That's why I will not say he is a bad quarterback right now. He's inconsistent. That is the big issue right now, and you cannot have an inconsistent quarterback in this league. I mean, look how a guy like Blake Bortles has fared in this league. Inconsistent quarterback. Sometimes he looked like the greatest quarterback of all time. Sometimes he didn't. He looked just god-awful. So, I mean, yeah, you can't have an inconsistent quarterback, and that's why I kind of want to bring up Dom's point right now. Let's just tank and draft a quarterback in the draft if Jimmy G can't stay consistent. To that, I will say I kind of agree with, and I kind of don't agree with. I do think we should go for an offensive lineman or a cornerback, someone like that in the first round. But I do think you could look round 3. Maybe you get a quarterback there. I don't think you have to wait until the season plays out, in my opinion, just right now, because it's hard for me to say we need a quarterback right now, because I do think Jimmy G is still a decent quarterback in this league. Inconsistent, as Dom says, as Kobe says. So I do think, yes, he can get the job done. But, I mean, the consistency part, as I've just said, you have to be consistent in this league, especially if you're a quarterback. He's not doing the job. So I think you just got to wait for him to step up, see what he can do. But, yeah, man, I mean, it's not looking good at all for Jimmy Garoppolo. So, yeah, I mean, yes, he got hurt. He'll probably miss next week's game because it's a short week, and we'll talk about injuries in a sec. But Jimmy Garoppolo got to step it up, man. You can't be playing like this inconsistently against a D that, by the way, did not have Jamal Adams, did not have Shaq Griffin, and you're just completely shitting the bed. It doesn't work out that way. You cannot do that, man. You can't do that, man. It's just not. You can't do that. It's that simple. You have to capitalize on those opportunities, and if you're not going to do that, then you shouldn't be the franchise QB of the team. So Jimmy G got to step it up. He has to step it up. Has to step it up. Has to step it up. If we want to compete for a playoff spot, which at this point we're probably not doing that. So it sucks to say, but it's the harsh reality right now. So. Yeah, and I also want to bring up something that Kobe tweeted earlier. Kobe, I saw this tweet earlier. The 49ers only gained 1 single yard in the third quarter. 1 single yard. That you cannot tell me that Jimmy G has no part in that. 1 single yard in the third quarter. That you cannot do that, man. You just can't do that. So yeah, you can't do that. It's that simple. I can't express it enough. You just can't do that right now. Having 1 yard. I mean, you can't. I said you can't do that right now. You can't do that ever. 1 yard in a single quarter. You don't deserve to win the game. You don't deserve to be paid $25 million a year if you're going to get 1 yard in a quarter. Let's be real about that. So, it's just not looking good for Jimmy G. So he has to step it up. Hopefully he does, obviously, but we'll see what happens. Personally, I'm not ready to move on from him yet, but I am getting to the point where it's like, okay, may need to move on for him. So, yeah, and I also got Antonio, as he says right here, Shanahan does not trust Jimmy. That is definitely another big part, but still, I think Jimmy's definitely has to step it up. Kyle Shanahan does not trust Jimmy Garoppolo, and it's that simple. He doesn't trust Jimmy Garoppolo, and let's just talk about the offensive play calling right now. So, the two plays I want to highlight. The one where McKinnon got blew up in the Wildcat formation, and the one where Trent Taylor lost all those yards. Let's start with the McKinnon play. I mean, he said you can't run this play when they're playing in cover zero. Okay, they ran a cover zero. So why don't you call timeout, run an audible, kill the play, or do something else? That makes no sense whatsoever. That's literally just a way to try to save your life. You're not doing that at all. That's just the worst excuse I've ever heard. Just call an audible, call timeout, kill the play, just do a lot more. It doesn't make sense at all why you would still run that play. Sorry, there was just someone talking outside. It just doesn't make sense at all why you would do that. So, yeah. And then let's talk about the one where Trent Taylor. I don't know if this is his fault, but according to the film, I didn't watch the film, but everyone said that Kittle was wide open. And I mean, if that's the case, then I don't know that's probably Jimmy's fault. Definitely Kyle Shanahan's fault, but because it was a quick pass. So, I mean, he was looking for Trent Taylor right away. So I think that definitely has big part on Kyle Shanahan. So, yeah, and as Bob Money says right here, Kyle's a dumbass play caller. I've been saying this for a while. He's not, yes, he's a good offensive coordinator. As a play caller, no, he is not. I mean, yes, I like how he tries to run those special things, but there's a lot of defense that just doesn't fool. And when teams get onto him, it's not going to work out. I mean, we've seen it so far. We're 4-4. Teams have got onto what Kyle Shanahan is doing, whether or not our guys are playing well, whether or not we have injuries on this team. Teams are getting on it. They're realizing that, oh, this guy's easy to figure out. We got to do it, though. So, yeah, man. I mean, that's really all I got to say about Kyle Shanahan. The play calling for him has been god-awful. Why don't you use a guy like George Kittle? George Kittle is is the best tight end in the league. Just use him more, man. I mean, you don't trust him. He doesn't trust him at all. Like you have George Kittle, you have Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk. All three of those guys ball out week in and week out. Maybe not Kittle this week, but still, usually they're going to see those guys ball out, and you're not passing the ball. That definitely shows that you don't have trust in your quarterback. So I would not be surprised if this team moves on from Jimmy Garoppolo, but Kyle Shanahan definitely has to put a bit more trust in Jimmy Garoppolo if this team wants to succeed. So, all right, let's move on to the positives of the offense. There are a few positives on this offense. The O-line and the quarterback are the two niggers. By the way, Nick Mullins balled out. Let's just put it that way. He obviously balled out. I don't know how you could disagree with me. Nick Mullins balled out. So I'm hoping that this is the big dick Nick, not the little dick Nick, but we'll see what happens in the next few games. All right, now let's talk about the run game. And I got to say, the run game was okay today. I mean, I liked seeing JaMycal Hasty balling out. I've been waiting for this moment. First touchdown of the year. I've told you guys that JaMycal Hasty is legit. And, I mean, yeah, he balled out. I wouldn't say he balled out today, but he had a pretty decent performance. So, it's definitely a good performance from JaMycal Hasty right there. So, yeah, that's really all I got to say about JaMycal Hasty. The fumble, though, that really killed the team. So, yeah. Tevin Coleman didn't do much, went out early. So, I mean, Tevin Coleman, that's another guy I think you got to get rid of. He hasn't done anything. Kind of an inconsistent back. I feel like Shanahan just used him because he's a veteran guy. He would rather use the veteran rather than the undrafted free agent. But hopefully a guy like Mostert can come back. I believe he can come back week 10. I believe so. Going to be very interesting to see that. Also, not to mention, Green Bay has the worst run D in the league next week. We're playing them next week. So, yeah, man. I mean, it's that simple. We could see a huge game from JaMycal Hasty, a huge game from Jerick McKinnon. I would not be surprised if we do that. I also wouldn't be surprised. Watch us sign a running back this week, because no Coleman, no Wilson, no Raheem Mostert. You're going to have 2 running backs on this team. You have to sign another running back, man. I mean, I don't care. They're going to get another running back on this team. So, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised unless they activated Mostert from IR, but I believe he went down week 6. So he already missed week 7, missed week 8. This will be his 3rd week right there, week 9. So, yeah, JaMychal Hasty, Jerick McKinnon, solid games. McKinnon got a touchdown as well. I forget that if it was passing or rushing, but still good game from McKinnon, efficient. That's what you like to see in your running backs. All right, now let's talk about my bright spot of the day. As a lot of people have been saying, the very first comment of this video from Dom, Ayuk wasn't bad today. Wasn't bad? That's pretty much an understatement. Let's go to Kobe's comment right here. He is a future star, man. Brandon Ayuk was balling out today, man. And I'm so glad we got him. Traded up to get him. I mean, at the time, it didn't look good on paper, but man, oh man, he is such a huge part to this offense. Balling out with Garoppolo, balling out with Mullins. This dude can do it all. And I definitely think, as Kobe says, this dude is a future star. When you get that 1-2 punch of Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk, that's going to be legit, man. And you're going to get Jalen Hurts in the future, too. So that may look good, too. So I'm very excited to see the career of Brandon Ayuk pan out. I mean, balling out today. I don't have the stat sheet up, but yeah, I didn't talk about any stats today. That's kind of surprising. Let me pull up the stat sheet real quick. Give me 1 second. Okay. Ayuk, I believe, had like 6 receptions or something like that. That is from last year. That's great. Where is the box score for today? 2020. Okay, this right here. This will do right now. Okay. Where is it? Where are the stats? All right, I'm sorry this is taking a while, but all right. If my internet can load. Okay, Brandon Ayuk. I didn't read any stats. I might read them after. But Brandon Ayuk, 8 receptions, 91 yards. Also, I mean, and a touchdown. Balled. That's what you call balling out today. He has proven he can work in this system. I think this was proven since he was drafted. I mean, he had Kyle Shanahan all over him. So I'm just really glad to see him thriving in this system. Also, one performance that's going a bit under the radar. Kendrick Bourne, 8 receptions, 81 yards. That's a good ass performance from Kendrick Bourne, man. That's the Kendrick Bourne we need to see today. And just in the future. I mean, no Deebo Samuel. He steps into that role, or just a role, be that number 2 receiver. Balls out today, man. So I'm glad that this is the KB I've been waiting to see for the past 4 years. I'm glad he balled out today. Definitely going under the radar. So, yeah, man. All right, and then Jerick McKinnon, 4 yards, 40 receptions. 4 receptions, 40 yards. That 40 receptions, that would be crazy. 4 receptions, 4 yards. Not much to say about that. And then you get to the negatives. Let's start with Trent Taylor. The dude's trash. It's that simple. Trent Taylor is trash. You can get him off this team. Trent Taylor, I have absolutely no faith in. He is trash. I don't need to say more about that. Trent Taylor is trash. And then all the comments right now. Trade Pettis. Dante Pettis has no value. I saw some all caps trade Dante Pettis at the very, kind of in the middle. But man, oh man, Dante Pettis, what are you doing, man? I mean, gets the kickoff return, fumbles the ball. I tweeted, I can't imagine what was going through Kyle Shanahan's head at the time, because he's already been living at Pettis throughout his entire tenure here. And I mean, just to fumble, he gets the one chance and he fumbles. Not only that, he gets hurt on that play. I think it was a shoulder injury. I'm not 100% sure what he said. I forget. It doesn't matter. It's Dante Pettis, a relevant player. So Dante Pettis, I think his time is up here, man. So, yeah, I mean, he was never the same post-surgery after, I believe it was an MCL tear, week 17 against the Rams, or week 16. I forget when it was against the Bears. But as Antonio says right now, Dante Pettis sucks. So, yeah, I mean, there's not really much I need to say about Dante Pettis. The other receiver we had today was River Craycraft. I have him as one of my key players. I was excited to see the role he would play. Didn't really do much, but I mean, if Trent Taylor is playing like this, we could see a much bigger role from a guy like River Craycraft. So definitely keep an eye out for that. Dante Pettis blocked you. That's that's fantastic. He's blogging a lot of Niners fans right now because we're all giving him shit. And I mean, to be frankly honest, he deserves that shit. I mean, it's that simple. I'm hoping he can figure it out, but at this point, it's the odds are slim to none that he's going to figure it out. So, yeah. All right, tight end. The last position of the offense, George Kittle did not play well today. This is the first time I had to say that on this channel. George Kittle did not play well today. Drops the pass. What were his stats? I believe it was, 2 receptions, 39 yards, 4 targets. One of them was a drop. One of them, I believe, was just a bad throw. But, I mean, he did not play well today. He didn't make a noticeable impact. And pray to God that he plays against Green Bay. I doubt he does it, though, because of, it's a short week. So, I doubt he plays this week, but he needs to step it up. On the other hand, though, Ross Dwelley, for when he was in, he definitely made a noticeable impact. He had a 16-yard receiving touchdown. That's all he did in the passing game. But in the run game, you definitely notice him on the field. So that's good to see. Hopefully, Jordan Reed will come back next week, fill in the role that Kittle will probably leave behind. So, yeah, that's what I'm thinking right now. But let's talk about injuries because the injuries are going to be key. And you're on a short week, so these injuries are going to be very hard to overcome. Deebo Samuel would probably play if this game was on Sunday. George Kittle would probably, I don't know the stats of their injuries, but let's just assume that let's just assume that let's not make any assumptions. George Kittle will probably be out for Green Bay. Jimmy Garoppolo will probably be out for Green Bay. Tevin Coleman will probably be out for Green Bay. All the guys that got hurt today will probably be out from Green Bay besides Fred Warner because he came back in the game. It was just a stinger. It really sucked. The short weeks really suck, man, but they're probably not going to play, and we're going to have to put our faith in Nick Mullins, Ross Dwelley. This is literally 2018 again. We're starting our backup against Green Bay. We're starting our backup quarterback. It's hard to say who's going to be the starting running back. It's either going to be McKinnon or Hasty. It's either going to be your third string or fifth string running back. Because let's be real, I do think Tevin Coleman is still the RB2 on this team, whether you like it or not. So, yeah, you're going to start your third string or fifth string running back. You're starting your wide receivers 2 or 3. You're starting your tight end 3 if Jordan Reed doesn't come back. And on the offensive line, you're starting your third center. That just sums up this team this year. So, yeah, we'll have to see how it goes. But, we'll have to see how the Green Bay goes. I know Antonio says we're probably losing. That's probably the case. I'm optimistic about the game because we just own the Green Bay Packers. That's what the 49ers do. So we shall see what happens against the Green Bay Packers. But obviously we're hoping for the best. But the injuries, man, they're going to kill us throughout the year. So, yeah. All right. Now, let's take a look at the keys to the game, what we said before. And, obviously they did not come true. Pass protection, non-existent today. Non-existent in every way, shape, or form. Pass D for the Niners D. Non-existent, especially when you had Emmanuel Mosley going up against DK Metcalf. By the way, guys, let's just get this straight. I don't know if this should be obvious, but I'm not mad at Emmanuel Mosley. I completely understand why he wasn't balling out today, doing all that. But, it's DK Metcalf. Let's be real. You can have this game, but you're going to make adjustments. You're going to come back stronger next week. You're going to go big up against Devontae Adams next week, who is a top 3 receiver in football. So we'll have to see about that. But hopefully Emmanuel Mosley will step it up and be the guy that we want him to be. On Seahawks offense, get Russ out of the pocket, which we didn't. They honestly did not get Russ out of the pocket. Our defense capitalized on that key and took that away from the Seahawks. Get rid of the pass protection or just the protection in general. We definitely pressured them a lot. Lots of blitzes. We adjusted at the beginning of the game. Get Russ out of the pocket. We did not do that much. He was really thrown in the pocket. It was the pressure of the Seahawks D that won them this game. The pressure of the Seahawks D won them this game. It's that simple. The pressure just killed us. The offensive line was terrible. Jimmy Garoppolo was terrible. Pressure kills all that. The pressure won this game for the Seahawks today. Also, Rohit brought up just keep the offense moving. They did just that too for their offensive key. So, yeah, man. I mean, I think, yeah, I mean, credit to the Seahawks, man. As much as I hate to say it, they figured it out. We didn't. So, yeah, that's kind of wrapping up what we said about pregame. All right, let's look at fantasy and give me 1 second to pull out. I don't have my phone is charging behind my setup, so I'm gonna have to pull this up on my computer. So if you guys gave me 1 second. All right, fantasy points for today. We're going to go top to bottom. Brandon Ayuk, 23.1, man. I'm so glad to see that from a guy like Brandon Ayuk, just balling out, man. Just like that. That's exactly what we need on this team. Brandon Ayuk, have a day, man. It's always good to see a guy like that just ball the hell out like that. So, I mean, I'm glad to see Brandon Ayuk. A lot of people had him as like, you have to start Brandon Ayuk this week. They were damn right that Brandon Ayuk was a must start this week. They all completely hit on that. 23.1 points, balling out. Nick Mullins, 17.52 points in only like a few quarters of play, man. I mean, Nick Mullins, yes, he did terrible against Philadelphia, but I do think that was one bad game. Hopefully he can rebound from that. That's what I'm hoping. I'm really just hoping he can rebound from that. Hopefully we don't have two inconsistent quarterbacks on the team because that would be really bad. But Nick Mullins, man, balled out. So, yeah, I'm glad to see that. Kendrick Bourne, 16.1. As I said, balled out. And that really went under the radar because he didn't get that touchdown. But 8 receptions, 81 yards. That's always so good to see from a guy like Kendrick Bourne, who you need to step up like that. So, I'm really glad to see that. Jerick McKinnon, 13.9 with that touchdown. Again, didn't do much. It's mainly in the receiving game for the fantasy points. So, yeah. JaMychal Hasty, 10.1. I mean, again, I wasn't expecting too much from him. But JaMychal, yeah, with 10.1 points, he had what did he have? He had 12 carries for 29 yards. It was, yeah, so he didn't do much today. 29 yards. I mean, yeah, as I said, he didn't ball out. He got that touchdown. But I mean, he is a short yard guy. I said in my fantasy, no, not my fantasy, my undrafted free agents video that I made in, I believe it was July or June. I said, JaMychal Hasty, he's a short yardage guy. He's going to pound it in the red zone. He is not an RB1. Let's be real. JaMychal Hasty needs to be in a committee. Yes, he was the number one back there today, but it's obvious. Like I was saying, he's not going to be an RB1 in the NFL. He definitely showed it today. He's not an RB1, but he is a great compliment guy to have in your offense. I mean, we saw him against the Rams, balled out. We saw him against the Patriots, balled out. And today, didn't do much, but yeah, he's definitely a decent player. For fantasy-wise, I wouldn't say he's startable, but yeah, I mean, he's definitely a solid player that you want to have on your team. Ross Dwelly with 8.6. That was really just from that one play. Trent Taylor, 6.2. I mean, he sucks, but yeah, Kittle, 5.9. Let's talk about Kittle's consistency has not been good. I do think that has a large part to go on the quarterback, but yeah, I mean, he had 9.3, 40.1, 8.4, 23.9, 10.5, 5.9. So I do think a lot of it does have to go on Jimmy Garoppolo, but yeah, definitely a bit of inconsistency from George Kittle. Juszczyk with 4.1, Robbie Gould 3.0, Tevin Coleman 2.0, and our worst score of the day was Jimmy Garoppolo, man. 1.76 points, man. That you cannot have that from your quarterback. It's that simple. Whether it's like reality fantasy, I don't care. If you have below 10 points in your quarterback, you had a pretty shitty game. It's that simple. So, man, Jimmy Garoppolo, he has to step it up at this point. So, yeah, total points for today. I do not have a calculator, so I cannot calculate that up. I don't have it on team. Oh, wait, 2 more players. River Craycraft, 0 points. So Jimmy Garoppolo was not our lowest score today. Our lowest scores were the 49ers defense with -2 points and Dante Pussycat Lover Pettis. Let me not start. Dante Pussycat Pettis. There you go. That's the perfect nickname for him. He loves cats. He's a pussy. That's simple. There you go. Dante Pettis. with -2 points from that fumble. I mean, yeah, I mean, I gotta say, I do feel bad for the guy, but he needs to step it up. And I do think that there was something wrong with him last year mentally, and he hasn't been able to recover for it. So we'll have to see what happens with Dante Pettis. Maybe we trade him, maybe we don't. I know some teams have been fielding calls for him, but yeah, we will have to see about that. So yeah, all right. That's really all I gotta say from this game. Looking ahead, we got the Green Bay Packers short week. I know I've said a lot with the injuries. Injuries are going to kill us. Short week. Got to prepare. Both teams lost this week, which is pretty big. So I think both teams are going to want to come out right there. Just come out and ball out and prove that they're a legit team. Niners especially have to prove that they're a legit team. You cannot fall to 4-5 after you just went to a Super Bowl. The Packers, on the other hand, they are still in first place in the NFC North. And we do own that team. So it should be a very interesting game. I'm going to try to get a Packers fan on for pregame next week. My former co-host at Gridiron Brawl, Pat, he is a Packers fan. I might try to get him on. I'll hit him up. If you're watching this, Pat, hit me up. I got you. I also got Max, who's been on some other streams. Might try to hit him up. But we could have a big show during this Packers game. So you guys are definitely going to want to stay tuned for that. It's going to be a Packers versus Niners pregame. That should be a very fun pregame to watch, definitely from two different sides. I like having opposing fans on. Sometimes they just don't know what they're talking about. I know, I think I had TJ on the first stream with Antonio. He did pretty well. I mean, I like TJ a lot, but I mean, sometimes you can't get those opposing fans. But TJ, if you're watching this, man, yeah, I mean, you can definitely come back for week 16. That's really all I got to say. But yeah, Tom Grossi, that's the guy I really want on my stream, man. Who wouldn't want Tom Grossi on the stream? So, yeah. All right, guys. Anyways, that's going to do it for post game. I know it's a bit late I apologize for that, but we'll be back on track next time. Pre-game next week. I have no clue when that's going to be, depending on my schedule. Short week. May even be, I don't know. That's going to be really hard. I'll figure it out. I'll tweet it out. Again, make sure to follow me on Twitter at NinerWireSam. And tweet me at NinerWireSam. If you have any other questions, I'll post updates there. Do that right there. So yeah, make sure to follow me there. And anyways, guys, thank you all so much for watching.